Welcome to the President's Diary, where we take a look at His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfaan Ali's week of activities. After launching the expanded Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030 in the week prior, His Excellency arrived in Glasgow, Scotland last Sunday to participate in the 26th Conference of Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change with other world leaders. The conference is scheduled to run from October 31 to November 12.
With a packed schedule of activities, Dr. Ali was received by a representative of the Queen of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. On Monday morning, the President met with the COP26 President and UK Member of Parliament Alok Sharma at the Scottish Event Campus in Glasgow. Discussion centered around Guyana's objectives and aims at the conference. Dr. Ali also updated Sharma on Guyana's expanded low-carbon development strategy that he launched last week, and Guyana's record on climate and environment-related matters over the past 12 years. By Monday afternoon, President Ali had already met with several Caribbean community leaders in Glasgow, including Prime Minister of Barbados Mia Mottley, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago Dr. Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of Jamaica Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Browne, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip Pierre, and President of Suriname, Chandrika Prasad Santokhi. Dr. Ali had also met Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Philip Davis, and other regional leaders while en route to Glasgow. CARICOM is lobbying as a bloc for the interests of small island developing states and low-lying coastal states. In the evening, President Ali shared a light moment with United States President Joe Biden and some CARICOM leaders. On Tuesday, President Ali attended the opening ceremony of the COP26 World Leaders Summit. Prime Minister of Canada Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi, President of South Korea Moon Jae-in, Prime Minister of Kuwait Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Sabah, President of Colombia Ivan Duque Marquez, President of Costa Rica Carlos Alvarado Quesada, Prime Minister of Palestine Mohammed Shtayyeh, China's chief climate negotiator Xi Jinping, and UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson were among world leaders that interacted with President Ali.
In his address, President Ali challenged the developed world to make the years leading up to 2030 the decade of decisive action, stressing that the survival of small, climate-vulnerable states like Guyana is on the line.
The fate of civilization resides in the decisions we make here in Glasgow. The climate issue and crisis has given us an ultimatum. Either we take immediate and drastic action or subject ourselves to an infernal global disaster. We can use this summit to change the present trajectory. Immediate action is needed on three fronts. First, we must set more ambitious goals to reduce emissions, and we must honor to the letter those ambitions. Second, the pledge of US $100 billion per annum, made 1 decade ago, to support climate action must be met. Third, forest-rich countries must be provided with the incentives necessary to keep their forests intact and to reduce deforestation and forest degradation.
His Excellency then attended the COP26 World Leaders Summit Action on Forest and Land Use event, which brought together an unprecedented alliance of governments, companies, financial actors, and non-state leaders to raise ambitions on forest and land use. President Ali joined over 100 world leaders signing on to a sustainable land use declaration. The world leaders committed to working together to halt and to reverse forest loss and land degradation by 2030.
During engagements at the Scottish Event Campus, President Ali met with the Prince Charles of Wales and Secretary-General of the Commonwealth, Baroness Patricia Scotland. They discussed Guyana's forest management record, the Prince's support for forest conservation globally, and Guyana's expanded low-carbon development strategy 2030. Dr. Ali told Kathy Newman of the United Kingdom's Channel 4 News about Guyana's advocacy for compensation for its standing forests at the Scottish Event Campus. He also spoke about the development of the oil industry.
In Guyana, we had one of the largest per capita carbon credit arrangement with Norway, where we got more than $200 million for our standing forests as a tool in storing carbon. So the carbon market is there. We are pursuing an energy mix that is going to be sustainable and renewable. In terms of our newfound oil resources, we have made it very clear that we support the removal of subsidy and we support carbon pricing on the industry itself.
President Ali engaged the UK's Minister for European Neighbourhood and the Americas from the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, Wendy Morton, in bilateral discussions at the Scottish Event Campus. The President outlined Guyana's action plan to fight climate change and the woes faced by small island developing states and low-lying coastal states. On Wednesday, President Ali went to London, England, where he was given a private viewing of the world's most expensive stamp, the British Guyana 1C Magenta, which was printed in 1856 in what was then British Guyana. The stamp was sold for over 1.7 billion Guyana dollars, or $8.3 million in June this year at an auction to a British rare stamp dealer. On Thursday, the President extended joyous greetings to all Guyanese, especially the Hindu community, on the occasion of Diwali, the Festival of Lights. He then met with the President of the Islamic Development Bank, President Dr Mohammed Sulaiman Al Jasser, back in Glasgow, Scotland. They talked about strengthening relationships and advancing bilateral cooperation between the bank and the government of Guyana. The Office of the President announced that Dr. Ali has also held talks over several days with the Commonwealth Secretary-General Baroness Scotland, Prime Minister Davis of the Bahamas and Prime Minister Brown of Antigua and Barbuda at the Scottish Event Centre. President Ali also held bilateral talks with Prime Minister Holness of Jamaica about opportunities for collaboration among governments and the private sector level, including in the extractive industries, the financial sector, tourism, health, agriculture, and logistics. They agreed that these talks should be followed by reciprocal visits.
On Friday, the President addressed a COP26 high-level event called the Climate Vulnerable Forum, during which he represented the interests of small island developing states and low-lying coastal countries.
Many of us are already punching above our weight in response to the climate crisis. We are the least contributors to climate change, yet we are making impactful contributions to mitigating the adverse effects of climate change through the ecosystem and climate services which our forests provide, and through the decarbonization of our economies.
The President also delivered feature remarks at the We Mean Business Pavilion, emphasizing that there are tens of millions of people being unfairly hurt by climate change for which they are not responsible. This, he said, is undoubtedly tragic. He advocated for the achievement of a climate vulnerable fund which would be beneficial to vulnerable countries and create investment opportunities for climate prosperous countries around the world. The President also called for a transparent accounting process for the issuance of monies earmarked for the mitigation and adaptation measures of the most vulnerable states. President Ali will continue to defend the most vulnerable at COP26, which continues until November 12th. That wraps up the President's diary of his week of activities. Thank you for watching. Join us again next week.